viewers, this is Echo TV International, and I am your presenter, Fatima Bisuso. Today, I am at the GCCI Trade Fair grounds here at the Turntable Serekunda to witness the International Women's Day. And then the theme for the program, Gender Equality for Sustainable Tomorrow. As we are here right now, the Minister of Education, she is on seat right now. We are awaiting the arrival of the First Lady of the Gambia, Madam Fatmata Barbaro, and the Vice President of the Gambia, Dr. Aissatou Toure, and then the Minister of Gender, who are all on their way to this place. Stay tuned to Echo TV as we bring you the updates of how things are going on here at the GCCI Trade Center. Good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon.
Can you please introduce yourself?
I am Honorable Claudiana A. Cole, the Minister for Basic and Secondary Education.
Thank you very much, ma. It's an honor to have you on ground. I would just want to ask you, what is your own perspective about the International Women's Day that we are celebrating here right now? And what do you think, or why do you think it's important for us to celebrate this day as women?
Well, I think it is important to have a day set aside to just recognize women and think about them, think about their role in society, and think about how much they're contributing at the moment and how much more women can contribute. For some time back, women have been left behind. They were never consulted about anything. They never had a chance to take decisions on their own issues. The women's issues were being decided by other people and more so by men. And when it comes to issues about women, we know it better than the men. So to set a day aside to dedicated to women as International Women's Day is a step in the right direction. It's a good thing to do. And I want to say perhaps we don't even have to just set a day aside to think about women. We should think about women and what they can do, what they're doing, and what they can contribute every day. Every day should be International Women's Day.
Thank you very much, ma. Hello, sir.
How are you?
Can you please introduce yourself, sir?
My name is Lamin Kamara. I am the Assistant Representative of UNFPA in the Gambia.
Sir, it's an honor to have you in the midst of all the ladies seated right now. I know maybe it's due to the importance of this day that we are celebrating. That's why you're here. So we want to know what you take, your own take on this.
Yeah, I think it's International Women's Day. I mean, by extension, International Women's Month. I mean, this is a time dedicated to celebrate women and also use it as an opportunity to highlight some of the issues that they are going through. And the theme this year is to break the bias. We need to be able to break all bias around women and the work that they do. And that's why I'm here. And this is central to the work that we do at UNFPA. And this is something at a personal level I'm really very passionate about.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
We don't have our guests yet, so it's all protocols respectfully observed. Now, Women's Day is a rallying point, and the women whose faces I see in this audience are what I would call the avant-gardes, women leaders, women who have been really untiring in their efforts to bring about development. I salute all of you. Jerejef gache ngalama. Now, we are reflecting, lanay background. We have every reason to celebrate and to reflect. There have been some gains, success stories, but at the same time, the progress is not just moving at the pace that which we want it to move. Why? There's a strong legislative environment. I mean, we have the Women's Act. We have women's everything, except that we are not just progressing the way we are supposed to be progressing. You look at the political arena, we are not happy with that either. The representation, we cry for the representation. It's a far cry from what it's supposed to be. Wan nañoo gën a mun a yokk suñ loxo te ñu ngi ñaax governments yi everywhere in Africa ñu gën a dugal jigéen ñu am gën a am representation ci decision making. Parce que foo xam ne decisions are being taken on how government is running cannot just be based on a male-based perspective. It's dangerous. Kon léegi foog ñu xalaat ñu delloowaat suñ xel ñu seet naka la ñoo yaatalee space bi ñu invite jigéen ñu ñëw léegi WBA ji ñoom ak ITC ak GCCI oo nañ leen fi ñu nekk mbootaay jigéen ñoo xam ne dañ bugg a puus jigéen ñi ci business ci gàttal WBA ji mu ngi wax ne nañ seetluwaat luwaay yi. Let's look at the legislations again and let's create the space for women. Beginning with public procurement. That one government has control over. And that one government has a say. And that one government can make the first move. Moo tax ñu ngi laajte 30% affirmative action in government procurement, so that women, youth, and the disabled, it's a women-led initiative, but based on a principle of leaving no one behind. No one behind. The women are not selfish. We are saying, open up the space and give 30% affirmative action for women in business, and especially public procurement. Furthermore, we are requesting that all procurement committees now become gender sensitive. Let's have more women in the procurement committees to take decisions for fairness, for prevention of corruption, okay? For transparency and increased accountability. WBAG is making those demands. Please support these demands when you hear them being raised at the lawmaking house, by the 6th legislature. It would be tabled so that the lawmakers would assent to our demands and ensure that women, youth, and the marginalized are given a fair share of the pie. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That was it from WBAG.
I say assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu, and thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this August gathering. I say assalamu alaikum to our Minister of Gender, Social Welfare and Children and Social Welfare. That's our ministry. And I think this year, this month is our month. So I just would like to welcome our Minister of Gender. I think this is the first time in the Gambia, in the history of the Gambia, during the reign of President Aja Marijovati, that we have a Minister of Gender. So I just want us to give the Minister a big, big round of applause. Yes, I think we need a bigger one than that. We need a bigger one. Yes, definitely. Minister, we salute you because this is our ministry. This is us. I always tell my colleagues that when they say we are campaigning for gender equality, or we are campaigning for, as the theme says, bridging the bias, or I think we should campaign. The women should campaign for more positions in the political arena, in social, in economic arenas. So definitely, if I say we salute our ministry, and this is us, Fadjai and Safi Savage, Rohi, Club Foire, we know what they do as well. They are our partners in development, just like EcoFib is our partners in development. I spoke with Antine Conte at length. We were together in Dubai just about 2 months ago. And we spoke about togetherness. And togetherness is key to us, it's important to us. It's the jot time, bit of Jodhpur. We have our suñ association si kenn ku nekk nga taxaw nga digal waaye nag suñu wéy si bugg a taxaw wax nguur jàmmaarloo nguur gi nag wax ñoom nag pour ñu defal ñu li ñu bugg nag dañu am pour ñëw together. We have to. We don't have a choice. We don't have a choice. We have to. And I think that is we are on the road to that. This is why we are in partnership with EcoFib and Club Foire, and other associations will be coming up. Just like I said, we have a strong executive at the Senegalo-Gambia network. And inshallah, towards the end of the program, you will see the surprises. Senegalo-Gambia was formed in 2017, 23rd October, by the two presidents of Gambia and Senegal, His Excellency Aja Marijovati and His Excellency Macky Sall. It's a new site for GCCI, and we just want to promote the site. We just want to tell everybody we are so happy that the site is here, and it's for us. We have long prayed and wanted to be part of it, and Alhamdulillah Rabbi Alameen, Allah has made a witness the opening of this site. You can see what we have done here. Thank you very much, the Trade Fair Committee, Sagar and team, Chair Board, Director Bajara, Sata, everybody, your team. Aji Sali, the Mohammed Sang, Babukar Saho, just to name a few. You did a very good job. So we cannot, all we can do to salute you is to come in your blue. So we try to come in your blue. So, but we definitely know that it's purple, and we appreciate the purple. Today, the Senegalo-Gambia wants to pay a big tribute to Aja Marijovati. Aja Mari's family is here. And I want to also do a 1 minute silence for her in remembrance of Aja Mari.
We are telling people what Taba is doing. We have a network, the gynecologists are there, the midwives are there, the people with disability who are always left behind. We value them very much. Who are here? The entrepreneurs. We've been talking about economic boost. We cannot boost our economy when we are not healthy. It's impossible. That is why we are crawling. We've been crying for sexual and gender-based violence. What's the factor behind is the taba. Because when women use taba, they violate the rights of men. They deny them sex. We are using the light words here because we are advocating. They deny men their rights to sex. That is why they have been battered. Children's right has been violated. Why? They apply taba on children because they say taba is good for bedwetting. When they trouble the family, they apply taba to them to send them to bed. Is it right? Now, the entrepreneurs, they have their businesses. They do everything. When they use taba, they become inactive because they feel tired, they are drowsy. Then they cannot be active, they cannot participate. Taba again, the vendors are the ones who are selling the tabas. Why? Because they want to reduce their poverty status. They want to uplift themselves, unknowing that taba has multiple effects, is ruining their life. So they sell this product because of ignorance, because of lack of proper information. Because the vendors will tell you that taba can cure 7 different illnesses. They will tell you, my husband is dead. They've mentioned late Aja Mari, late Allah give her the highest Jannatul Firdausi. I remember when I was sensitizing her at our Drame's place, I told her, Auntie Marie, now they are using taba. If your husband is dead, because you are a widow, if your husband is away, use taba, you have 7 times 7 sexual satisfaction than normal men.
As a guy in working for a foundation that is headed by a woman, I think men's contribution to women's or ending women's bias or women inequalities in the world is very, very significant. As a he-for-she, I think we definitely need to break the gender disparities. I mean, both at workplaces, in the social constructs, and everywhere in short. I think men have a big role to play. Women are not minorities. Women are our counterparts in development. And I believe this government, under the auspicious leadership of President Adama Barrow, with his right lieutenants, that's the Minister for Women's Affairs, and all the people that are working with her, would definitely change the dynamics. I think there's a lot that has happened. There are a lot of success stories. There are a lot of success that has been registered, but a lot needs to be done. And we can't do it without the collective responsibility of men and women coming together to end all forms of gender bias.
This is the biggest trade fair that we have had so far. We have almost 500 stalls and over 500 participants. We have realized that each year the demand for stalls has been high, and this is the biggest that we have, but yet still the demand is more than what we have to offer. So we are hoping that come 2023, we will have more stalls available for the beautiful women entrepreneurs that are here today. Every trade fair, the women participation is always at its highest. And we also encourage you to come and participate not only at the trade fair, but in other events that GCCI offers. We do offer trainings for women as well. So we are inviting all the women and the men. We cannot leave the men behind. So we invite all of you to GCCI. And if you're not a member of GCCI, we encourage you to come to the office at Vigilo and register to become a member. There are a lot of benefits to be a member of GCCI. So if you haven't gone around the trade fair, we have different sectors. We have cosmetics, we have food, we have institutions, we have real estate, we have fashion. So you're all welcome, and if your families as well are yet to come and see what the trade fair has to offer, I urge you to invite them to come as well. So welcome to all of you, and enjoy. Thank you.
The Vice President of the Gambia is the one approaching right now. So Aissatou Touré, she just stepped in right now at the GCCI Trade Fair to also be part of the International Women's Day.
Vice President Leona, Her Excellency Nila Lindam Labete Sinyun, Jigen Nega Vice President, Jigen Nega Speaker, Ana Senyari Minister
Your Excellency, Dr. Aissatou Touré, the Vice President of the Republic of the Gambia, Honorable Fatou Kinte, Minister of Gender, Honorable Claudiana Cole, Minister of Basic Education, and Your Excellency, the Vice President, please allow me, I cannot just make mention of Honorable Claudiana Cole and proceed. Honorable Claudiana Cole is one of our champions. Honorable Fatou Kinte, definitely Honorable Claudiana Cole is somebody who is supporting your agenda in all ways and all aspects. So on that note, I would like all of you to give a big round of applause for Honorable Claudiana Cole of Basic Education, because we are, because of the Basic Education women, before we get to the level of the Minister of Women's Affairs, we have somewhere to start, which is the basic education. So definitely, Honorable Claudiana Cole, the foundation, thank you so much for coming. And good afternoon, UN Resident Coordinator Seraphine Wakana, the ITC representative Raymond Moza, and UNFPA representative Lamin Kamara. The WBAG members, GWCC board members and staffs, together with the GCCI board members and staff, and of course the chair of the trade fair, Mr. Bajara Jabi. Ma Foundation for Women, Senegalo-Gambia Network of Entrepreneurs and Leaders, EcoFebre, Senegalo Federation, Club Fouad, and just to name a few. But I would like to acknowledge the presence of all female organizations present here today. And of course, I would like to acknowledge the presence of all deputy permanent secretaries and permanent secretaries here present today. The security forces present, the media fraternity, and all protocols duly and respectfully observed. Thank you very much, thank you very much, Binta Jame Sidibe, for coming, OIC chairperson for local committees. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to welcome all of you to this important event as we celebrate the International Women's Day with the theme Gender Equity for Sustainable Tomorrow. The Women in Business Advocacy Group is a network of women in business advocating for the rights and protection of all women who are engaged in the field of business and trade. We found it fitting to celebrate this day here at the GCCI National Trade Fair grounds, where phenomenal women are gathered to showcase the great work they are doing to for sustainable growth and contributing to national development. We firmly believe that tomorrow's sustainability greatly relies on us women, and together we can. Therefore, it is important to invest in women for national development. It has been said that women are architects of society, and indeed we are. In the case of Women in Business Advocacy Group, women have been the architect of our unique network since its inception, with a bright idea to accompany women in trade moving along migration routes. You will notice at these National Trade Fair grounds a number of migrant women working in close partnership with Gambian women to demonstrate their knowledge and skills as they venture in a man's world with pride and dignity for a common goal. Whilst we continue to lead the network and inspire the younger generation to strive and carry women in trade and business further higher, we call for great investment and support to women. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we celebrate the achievements of women leading in business over the years. There are lots of challenges women face to strive through business with limited access to finances, coupled with traveling on dangerous and difficult migration routes, managing border controls with the COVID-19 pandemic, which is a nightmare, yet we pursue our goals and perseverance, determination to succeed for our families, most especially our children. Whilst we continue to use the digital world for remittance to family support and interactions, we are away on business trips. We are challenged with limited leisure time, limited investment to our healthcare needs, yet still we are the carers, the mothers, the providers for the family. I call on all of us to have a thought for the women and salute their courage and determination. Please, can we have a round of applause for all the women seated here and all those in their various stalls exhibiting. To the men present here, you are our he for she advocates. Together we can make a change and achieve gender equality. To GCCI, we are what we are because of you, because you care. You invest in us. You guide and empower us. It's also time to thank you, to the women that continue our network. It's also time to thank the women that constitute of our network to perform the day-to-day work to fulfill the mission of the WBAG. The mission of the WBAG is to establish 30% gender rule on access to procurement and programming, to increase women business participation in partnership with relevant agencies and ministries, to increase the participation of women in design and implementation of national and local development in sectoral plans. The WBAG owe it to the office of the a big appreciation to the office of the Vice President for giving the opportunity, for giving the women in business the opportunity to demonstrate what we can do during the first COVID relief food supply. We are women, we are able to supply 47% of the amount that was required within a short period of time. This shows how much we can do as women if we are given the opportunity. It means
Dr. Aissatou Toure, Honorable Minister of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, Fatou Kinte, my sister and former colleague, Honorable Minister of Basic Education, here present, I understand you are a gender champion. Chairperson of the Women's Business Advocacy Group, Madam Fatoumata Jawara Doucouré, all senior government representatives here present, representative of civil society, colleagues from the United Nations in the Gambia, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols duly observed. I'm here pleased and honored to be with you today. We have started celebrating the International Women's Day yesterday, and I see we are continuing, and this month is dedicated to women, so I would say we are here together, but we also enjoy the men that are joining us today, even I see that there are not many. We encourage them to do more and to also go out and raise the voice for us so that we can have more and more men to join. The day is a celebration for the achievements of the women, but we also look for the future. So we won't be able to succeed without men behind us. And that's why I'm here standing, and my speech will not be long. I'm here to advocate for more inclusion, more empowerment for women. And as UN Resident Coordinator in the Gambia, we have started working on this. I understand many agencies here supporting the process. So let's hope that tomorrow will be different than today. And for us at the UN, we also understand that the Gambia is really working well, and I understand We have also many women coming from Senegal. It's also important to understand that we need to partner with anyone who wants to progress on this agenda. So we congratulate you for coming together with Senegal-Gambia network to really see how we can together embark on the agenda of empowering women. Today, I also wanted to flag that we see women, more and more women coming out on areas where we are not used to see women embarking. And this is what we witnessed today, so that through this trade fair, we see a lot of things happening made by women. It's important for those women to be also supported, to have the men again pushing for their success, because for us, there are a lot of barriers for women, and particularly during this period of a lot of pandemics. We see the health pandemic, we also see climate change, and we will not be able to attain the Sustainable Development Goals if women are not empowered. I heard earlier in those who were talking that we recognize that women, we represent more than 50% in all the countries. It's not only Gambia. So if half of the population does not contribute and is not considered, we won't be able to succeed. And we are lucky to have the Vice President with us. She's pushing for more on policy. We want to see more on policy, so that we can, on a legal start, so that we can really progress with strong support.
The Gambia Network for Women Entrepreneurs and Leaders, the Senegambia Network for Women Entrepreneurs and Leaders, Aja Marijovati and her colleagues. Our colleagues from Senegal, who are here representing the Senegalese women, more especially Aja Marijovati. 2 years ago, we were in Kaula, and she was our host. And we can't forget the hospitality according to us while we were there. The Deputy Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, who is a former director of the Women's Bureau, Aja Sidibe, another former director of the Women's Bureau, Bitu Gassama, here present, a former director of the Women's Bureau. Just to let you know that now Women's Bureau has been transformed to the Directorate of Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment under the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare. I can see my sister from a different mother. That's Aja Imilifun. We call ourselves sisters from a different mother when we were with the UN. And then we were working under the same gender theme group. We shared a lot in common. I remember sometimes staying at UN House till 11 at night when everybody's gone, working on many proposals for women. I want to acknowledge the presence of my staff who are with me, Aja Farsi and Hoja. I want to also acknowledge the presence of Mr. Jabi, the chair of the trade fair, and also the GCCI board. All the GCCI board members present here. All protocols duly and respectfully observed. I am pleased to be with you on this auspicious occasion and to deliver a statement. This week, or this month, is International Women's Month. Yesterday, during my statement at the banquet, I said to the audience that every day is a Women's Day. We can't select one day out of 365 days of the year and say that is the day for women. That's not possible. If you look at the woman, she's in charge of everything. We have women as farmers, we have women as housewives, teachers. You could come to the health sector, you have the nurses, the doctors. As women now, we are happy to count the number of female doctors that we have in the Gambia, more than 40. of them. As we are speaking, we have 40 of them who have just graduated and have just started work at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital. My daughter is one of them. We have women pilots. We have women captains in boats. We have women everywhere. I wish to acknowledge the presence of women in uniform. Women's role is important. No society can perform without women. In gender terms, we say women's roles are divided into 3. Reproductive role, that's where they are responsible for the upkeep and welfare of the entire family, and that's where the unpaid gender work comes in. In that reproductive role, women are not paid a penny. So that is why it's considered as reproductive. Women are also involved in productive work. That's where their services are remunerated. Women are also involved at community level. But at community level, there is stereotyping. There is what is meant for women and what is meant for men. But the important thing here is that women are involved at every level of work in our society, be it reproductive, productive, and community. As we observe Women's Day celebration under the theme, Gender Equality for Sustainable Tomorrow, women should move from being poor to come to the highest level so that we can achieve gender equality. This is where education is important, and my sister's ministry is key in this. My ministry, my work cuts across the work of all ministries. I say to colleagues that I'm the police lady to be policing all of the ministers to make sure that they incorporate gender in their work. In fact, this is the reason why we have come up with a gender mainstreaming strategy paper for cabinet. Very soon it will go to cabinet, and that's very important because that's where we have indicated that we want to see women at the level of the boards, 30% representation from affirmative action. We want to see 30% in procurement. At every level, we want to make sure that we achieve 30%. And I have no doubt that when it reaches cabinet, we get cabinet approval. Once we have cabinet approval, we'll now push for the implementation. And cabinet is the highest office. Once cabinet says okay to that, we'll move for the implementation, although it requires a lot of training and capacity building. Gender mainstreaming is not an easy task. I say to colleagues, you mainstream first, then you program and you budget. So this is the level at which we are. And very soon, we'll be knocking on all of your doors to join us in implementing the gender mainstreaming strategy. A few years back, UNDP came with the gender seal. I worked with my colleague on that, my sister from a different mother. And then the gender seal is at the level of the private sector. The gender mainstreaming paper will now bring everybody on board, whether you are private or government. So we all work together to make sure that we mainstream gender in all the work that we are doing. And one interesting thing that we have in the cabinet paper is for all ministries to allocate 3% of their budget to gender issues. We have no doubt that when we do that and we go into gender programming and budgeting, we'll be able to address the gender concerns of everybody and at every level. Then the issue of gender equality, we can see at the end of the tunnel. Unless we program and budget gender issues at all levels, it will be very difficult for us to achieve gender equality. And countries which have achieved gender equality have worked very hard. It's not an easy task. And we are borrowing from lessons learned to make sure that we also reach there. As I was saying earlier, as we observe Women's Day celebration, it's a point of reflection and thanksgiving. We thank God that we have witnessed yet another Women's Day celebration. Point of reflection, we turn back and see what we have done. What have we achieved? The achievements, we consolidate and scale up. Where there are challenges, we come up with programs to address the challenges. And that requires the work of everybody, because the work goes from the grassroots to the top. Yes, achieving gender equality also requires women to be at the decision-making table. This is important. This cannot be achieved without education. Let every parent make sure that our girls go through education up to the highest level, that's university. Unless we educate our women, our girls to the highest level, we cannot get enough women at the decision-making table. So I want to urge every person to make sure that girls go through education up to university. From there, then we'll be able to get what we want at the level of decision-making. In the home, women are responsible for everybody. And for those women, the professionals, our role is a triple role. You go to work. While you're at home, in the workplace, you are coordinating what's happening at home. You come home, you still continue taking care of everybody at the level of the household. That's not an easy task. It's only women who can multitask. Men don't know how to do it. I was talking to a colleague in the UN system.
I am very pleased today. I think you can see it on my face. When I see the women, the veterans, the intergenerational progress that I have seen today is phenomenal. And I want to just express my appreciation for your attendance and also the men who care, who have come here to give all the support that is needed. I celebrate all of you today. Madam Chairperson, honorable ministers present here today, the UN Resident Coordinator, Madam Serafina Kokana, I want to make a special appreciation of Honorable Minister for Basic Education, MOPSI. She got her invitation very late. In fact, she has not received it. She did not receive it. So it's not about failure of but it's showing you the weakness of some of our institutions. The letters were written on time, everything was sent, but she still did not get the letter. And when the information was sent to her, and I spoke to her, I just called through Fatmata Jawara, and she said, I have not received, but I am going to be there because it has to do with women and children. So I just want to appreciate her for recognizing and appreciating that. Activists are always like that, they don't wait for invitation. But it is important to make sure that when letters are going, they should reach easily, early, because I also had my letter very late. So first and foremost, as women, I want us to be very much up and doing in trying to make sure that our institutions are going to deal with some of the issues of the challenges that we are facing in this reform. And I want to thank the director of the GCCI. Now that a woman is there, things will definitely move. That is not to say that the past ones did not do well, they did well, but this is a new epoch that calls for equality and non-discrimination, and women make a big difference when they engage, like was alluded earlier. Honorable Chairperson of the Women in Business Advocacy Group and founder of the Ma Foundation, Madam Fatmata Dukure Jawara, Head of Government Departments, the Chair of the Local Organizing Committee of the OIC, Madam Binta Sidibe, representatives of the UN agencies, Her Excellency, the First Lady of the Gambia and founder of FAB, Madam Fatoumata Bah Barrow, Her Excellency Sadio Mbalo Barrow. I was made to believe that they are coming today. Her Excellency, the Director of GCCI, Madam Sarata Konate. I am sure now you must be confirmed. We know of your appointment. And it's 6 months ago, so now I can call you substantive director. If it is not confirmed, it should be confirmed, because according to GO, 6 months is the time. I wish to congratulate you on that. Executive Secretary, Senegalo-Gambian Secretariat, and those from the diaspora, our neighbors, our sisters from Senegal and the other countries. The Director of the ITC, Mr. Raymond Moser. The Women Business Advocacy Groups. The Chair of the Trade Fair, Mr. Aja Marijovati. The private sector and entrepreneurs, women's rights activists, women's rights organizations, Network of the Physically Challenged, the media fraternity, the creative arts,
performers, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, all other protocols respectfully and duly observed. Madam Chairperson, I feel greatly honored and privileged to be invited as your special guest to deliver a speech on the importance of women in advocacy work, in promoting gender equality and women's empowerment. I take this opportunity to congratulate all of you for the great efforts you make to promote women's rights across the board. I also bring the greetings of His Excellency to all the women of the Gambia on the occasion of this very important day. President Barrow says congratulations and appreciates each and every woman sitting here today. Madam Chairperson, the theme for this year's International Women's Day celebration is apt as it focuses on gender equality and sustainable development or sustainability. Ladies and gentlemen, the new epoch heralded by women attaining higher education, taking up leadership roles and making independent decisions on all spheres of their lives is indeed an exciting time for women in the world. Governments are recognizing that they cannot continue to develop and prosper without fully engaging and empowering one half of their population. Globally, the contribution of women in nation building has been recognized and seen as means to achieving sustained economic growth and sustainable development. Therefore, the empowerment of women and protection of their rights to unlock their potential is regarded to be at par with other pressing global issues, including ending poverty and hunger, reducing infant and maternal mortality, and tackling the problem of climate change. Generally, public dialogue and advocacy on gender issues is mostly carried out by elite groups in organizations or government institutions, while women, especially those from the grassroots, are not actively engaged in these processes. They are more often seen and treated as beneficiaries of the advocacy process without playing an active role in it. We must translate the policy advocacy undertaken mostly by us elite groups into large-scale advocacy efforts. Engaging directly with the grassroots, doing community organizing, mobilizing, sensitizing, and consciousness raising is absolutely necessary if we're going to leverage on our powers. I want to celebrate all of us who are considered so-called elite women for taking the bold steps, because we had the privilege to be educated, we had the privilege to engage, we had the privilege to be able to understand the dynamics of structural inequalities, especially at the institutional level, and we are motivated by that to be able to engage, to raise the voices of women. So I want to celebrate all of you. Without you, the debate would not have been on the platform. So, but we must take note of the fact that we have a broader constituency, and the day that constituency understand their powers, it will be over. Madam Chairperson, the involvement of more women in advocacy work helps to accelerate the process of social transformation on gender inequality, as was the case in the advocacy on female genital mutilation, women entrepreneurs, and the procurement process, women and politics, just to name a few. We must put our collective efforts to ensure that the procurement process is gender responsive and sensitive by giving women a quota. You have heard my colleague, the Minister for Gender, has talked about the quota, the procurement quota. I want to thank the Women in Business and the Women's Business Advocacy Group for taking a lead in raising the awareness and calling into accountability the state to take its responsibility in getting women that quota is absolutely necessary. I also want to appreciate and recognize the presence of one of the greatest feminist activists in the country, Madam Emily Sarr. She is here. You have Binta Sidibe, who is here. You have others who are around here, whose names we may not be able to take all. But these are people who have been at the policy corridors and raising issues on women's equality issues and inequalities and trying to influence policy to make sure that these things go in. From the legal perspective, you have quite a number of legal luminaries sitting here who are doing it. So the elite women are very relevant in some of these things, and we must not allow the dichotomy to be drawn between the women, elite women, and those in the rural areas. We are here to amplify their voices. Often excluded from many social, political, and economic spaces, women encounter a lot of resistance to their advocacy work. At times, accused of trying to break up homes or competing men. Let us believe in ourselves and our abilities to be leaders in both the economic and political spheres of this country by overcoming the social and cultural barriers that impede progress and casting away the notion in which we are socialized to doubt our own abilities to be leaders and entrepreneurs with large-scale businesses. I call you the economic operators. You can do it, you have the ability, you can do it, but you need that policy support to move on. That's why the quota for the procurement is very important. Empowering women advocacy networks can be a major force for social transformation, bridging the gaps between policy advocacy and grassroots activism. You have the Gambia Women's Business Advocacy Group. Don't joke with this network. It's absolutely important. You can be an important voice in shaping the economic development of this country and contend with things that are coming and put your agency in them. Very important. So you have to have that because you are to engage at both levels, both at the policy and at the grassroots. Fighting for almost 20 to 35 years, and we are now fulfilling that through a process that is sure and sustainable. So that is why I am standing here today to talk this with authority, about this with authority. If it doesn't work, I will not be there. I'm telling you. It will only work then to strengthen us who are there, because not every woman will have time to be there. You have to be collectively solid and us to be able to push the agenda. And I can tell you, the political will is there, and His Excellency is ready to support the women, so we must give him all the recognition that he deserves. So that, not about us now, it's about our children, our grandchildren, and the future. The fight that activists, people were fighting, would come to crystallize. We must put aside our personal sentiments and work for the collective good of women. Let us put all the aside. This is a very important day for me today. Even though it was late, but I had to sit down and reflect over the years what needs to be done. Let us put our personal sentiments and work within the collective so that we get what we want and not to be struggling every time a new government comes, we start begging and running after them. We can stop that through this government because there is a political will for that to happen. We are tired of going after begging and negotiating. We need negotiations, but negotiation on the basis of equity and so on. This is to crystallize our advocacy efforts over the years to translate them into formal and substantive equality. We have all the technical competence here. We have all the critical masses in various fields who can make it happen. It's there. Involvement of women in advocacy will certainly contribute to the process of building a new Gambia, where women and men can enjoy a more democratic, free and fair society. Develop critical awareness among grassroots women about their status and positions in Gambia's socio-political system. Facilitate regular dialogue between women and men and decision makers to advocate on women's issues. Men are very critical here because the status quo, you all know the status quo, what it has been. So we have to sit down, discuss, and create awareness. And it's only when we have that dialogue, that communication, the advocacy will be effective. Working with men who care to be role models in a mainly patriarchal and male-dominated society, as advocates, we envisage a future devoid of violence and discrimination. We are not blaming them, but this is what society has created, and we have to work with them since they are occupying these seats. The purpose of women development, women involvement in advocacy is the will, and will continue to be transformation to a world with justice, equality, a healthy environment, a human rights for all, which means gender justice, gender equality, and women's human rights at its core, based on principles of universality and individuality of rights, non-retrogression, and progressive realization. That's what we need. The minimum obligation of states to ensure equality and address the needs of the most marginalized, advocate for a gender goal that would end all forms of discrimination, gender biases, and gender-based violence, guarantee women's and girls' sexual reproductive rights, ensure their rights to and control over land, property, and productive resources. As businesswomen, you need property and productive resources, and their economic independence. Recognizing women's role in the care economy and ensuring their rights to social protection, decent work, and living wage, and the equal distribution of paid and unpaid work, and their rights to participation in leadership and decision-making at all levels is very key. And we are going to realize that if we mobilize and organize and get to work systematically. Today, we are proud to be in this arena where women are showcasing their entrepreneurial skills and ability. I congratulate all of you. When I come here and look at what you can do and your ability to mobilize and organize, I congratulate all of you. Although strides have been registered in the creation of equal opportunities for all sexes, there are gender gaps and underrepresentation of women in key decision-making positions. Well-entrenched and adored traditional and cultural practices continue to undermine the well-being of women in the Gambia. Cognizant of the tremendous role played by women in development, the Gambia government has seen the attainment of gender equity, equality, and empowerment of women and the elimination of all forms of violence against women as an important prerequisite for sustainable development and progress. The Gambia government continues to advance the cause of women in all facets of human endeavor through various development initiatives. You have had the Minister for Gender talk. All other ministries where gender is considered a cross-cutting issue, all the initiatives that are there that affect women are being considered. And we are making efforts to make sure that the policy direction that the Ministry of Women and Gender, you should be proud of that, we are going to follow. We'll look at all those issues that we used to have problems with. Through various developments, and this is translated into the creation of a Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Affairs, resulting to the adoption of a number of policies and legislations by Cabinet and the National Assembly to enhance women's rights. So we have both the National Assembly, we have both Cabinet, and also the judiciary. These are the three layers of governance who have a role to play in this. And we have a ministry now who will not, they used to consider our issues as add-ons. Every ministry will come, UNDP will tell you we have money for women, then you rush after it. Whether you are committed or not, it doesn't matter. You come, they give you, you make something, and then that's it. But now we have a dedicated ministry. A ministry that is taking a strategic path, and we must recognize that. So that all other ministries also will have to respond to that. We should thank His Excellency President Barrow for creating that, because we've been fighting from the first to the second. This is the third one, now almost about 50-something years, when women are beginning to get that opportunity as this thing. That is through the time of His Excellency President Barrow.
we've come to the end of the International Women's Day program right here at the GCCI Trade Fair Center. It's been a very long day, and we've met marvelous ladies who, you know, they are here to support the women agenda, which says they want 30% of the Gambian development to be awarded to women. It's been a long day, but I can testify to you that it was a very wonderful day. We've learned a lot from these women, and then we hope that when it gets to the National Assembly, for the 30% of national development to be awarded to women, it will be granted, inshallah. Until we come your way again, this is Eco TV International, and I am Fatima.